What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers are ready to take on the Golden State Warriors, and Mr. Rui Hachimura is going to be a big factor once again. Now, before the Memphis Grizzlies series, I talked about Rui Hachimura and how I thought he was going to be a major factor for the Lakers in that series, in that matchup. And here we are again, and I believe he will be the same thing in this Warriors matchup. He was massive in that series, had some great games, really helped lead us in game one to that win with 29 points. But when you're talking about the Warriors have great guards. They have some great solid players, but what they do lack is size, and they lack guys that are going to be able to make the defensive adjustments to guard a guy like Rui Hachimura that can and has proven in the previous series to be able to score at all three levels. Rui Hachimura is, again, going to be massive. Also, his ability to guard guys like Draymond Green or even Kevon Looney, or if they put in a Jermichael Green or something like that, right? Or maybe even Kuminga. Right, Kuminga with his size and his athleticism, I really think Rui is a guy that could hold his own in that matchup. I even think Rui could give Andrew Wiggins a hard time. And Rui has really been putting in the work. He has really been putting in the effort, and he has done a really good job. Again, credit Phil Handy. Phil Handy has worked with Rui Hachimura and has really just turned him into a basketball player. Rui was doing really good defensively, and he was even great in that game 6, switching on like Desmond Bane, and which was really impressive, because one of the big problems that Rui has had defensively is moving his feet and his lateral movement and just quickness, right? Guys blowing by him, guys getting by him. Now, I don't think you could put Rui on like a Steph or a Jordan Poole or something like that. Even Wiggins, I think, might give him a couple fits, but I do think in spots, if you had to, you could switch him to it. But beyond that, he's been solid with the Lakers. He had, a 29-point game, followed that up with a 20-point game, followed that up with a 16-point game. And then the last 3 games, he gave us 7, 9, and 6, but also minutes and shot attempts were not as high, right? So the game 1, he got just under 30 minutes and gave you just under 30 points. Game 2, he gave you 32 minutes and gave you 20 points, right? And then you just saw the little decline, except for game 4. He played 26 minutes, and in that game, he gave you 7 points, and that was the game that he was a little rough, struggled a bit. But still, I have plenty of faith in Rui Hachimura. I think he's a guy that can easily go get you, 12 to 15 points per game this series, and we're probably going to need that, right? We're probably going to need him to have those moments, those games where he gives us 29, 20, 25, whatever. And I really think the Golden State Warriors are going to have a hard time just matching up against Rui with his size, with his physicality. They can put a Draymond Green on him, or they could put a Kevon Looney on him, but then who guards Anthony Davis, right? Who's going to help, stop LeBron James from just getting to the rim? Yeah, Andrew Wiggins, he's a solid defender, but you're talking about LeBron James here, right? So Rui, having those sets of like Rui, LeBron, and AD, I think are going to be very impactful. I really think your closing lineup could be Rui, LeBron, AD, Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell. And I think that would give the Golden State Warriors all kinds of fits, because all of those guys can defend. And D'Lo's probably your weakest defender, but he was really solid in that Memphis Grizzlies series, like underratedly solid. He was getting at it. He was being aggressive. He was making rotations. He was closing out. He's been, since the Lakers traded for D'Lo, he's been actually really solid defensively. Again, not elite, nothing that's going to stand out and jump in front of the page, but he's shown the willingness to, like, hey, let me make the effort. Let me put the effort into the defensive side, which was a big problem with him prior to his run here with the Lakers. And so you could run those sets, and Rui can match up against Draymond Green. LeBron can match up with Andrew Wiggins. Or again, you could switch that. You could have LeBron, because I believe the Lakers are going to very likely a good majority of the time just have LeBron James and Anthony Davis play spy in the paint, right? Let Draymond Green, let Kevon Looney kind of just go out on the perimeter and do whatever they want to do, right? Anthony Davis and LeBron James will just kind of play spy in the interior, right? And LeBron will probably, kind of roam around a little more and be like the help defender and stuff like that, where Anthony Davis will probably run it a lot like we saw in Memphis, where he's just kind of camping there, getting ready, basically being a deterrent for anybody that's trying to get to the paint, especially Steph Curry. One of the big issues that the Golden State Warriors had was Steph just getting to the basket, right? Well, you can do a lot of that stuff with Rui too. And Rui has been a great help defender and a great blindside threat, right? So he's been really good in just that help defensive spot. His size, his strength, his physicality, his ability to block shots, all of those things I think are going to be very massive for the Lakers. And I think Rui Hachimura is going to be a big standout. And I kind of want to go through a lot of these players. Probably not so much Anthony Davis and LeBron James, because I think you know what you're going to get from them. But earlier today I talked about Troy Brown. Definitely think you should watch that video, because I think Troy Brown is going to be a big factor. But a lot of the reasons even I talked about Troy Brown being a factor, I really think Rui is going to be that in a lot of ways too. And I also think the Lakers are probably going to go one of two ways. Game one, I actually can see the Lakers just going their 7, maybe 8 with winning Gabriel. Basically the lineup that beat the Memphis Grizzlies and sent them home. I could see them going, hey, we got 4 days rest. Let's go and run these guys. Let's go steal game one. Keep your rotation tight. Keep it together. Have these guys go out, dominate the Warriors, right? Steal game one. But as we get deeper into this series, you're going to need to expand more, and you're going to need to run guys, because you don't want to wear down LeBron. You don't want to wear down AD. And I could see games where Rui is going to get heavy minutes, right? I mean, there's an argument for Mo Bamba this series. There's an argument for Lonnie Walker. There's an argument for Malik Beasley, like all of these guys. I mean, even Max Christie, because the Warriors really like to run those 4-guard sets. Even Max Christie, you can make an argument for, to kind of just be there as a 3-and-D defensive guy. But Rui, I think you can make a real argument for as like your workhorse that you kind of just lay on, right? Certain 4-guard sets, depending on who's out there, I think Rui can really help. You don't want Rui to have to guard, again, a Jordan Poole or a Steph Curry or, guys like that. But I do think, if they're running that 4-guard set with, say, Steph, Clay, Poole, and Wiggins, I think you could put Rui on Klay Thompson, right? And just kind of just bully Clay a little bit, right? Put some size on Clay, make things difficult for Clay, right? Clay is not a guy that's really quick and is going to take you off the dribble, especially nowadays, right? But Rui, if he can be disciplined, especially with his long wingspan, he's got like a 7-foot wingspan, you could put him on Klay Thompson and make things difficult for Clay, right? And Rui's strong enough to fight through those screens, to kind of just bump Clay off of his spots, and just kind of put Clay in uncomfortable situations that the Sacramento Kings just weren't able to do. I also think you could do the same thing with like if they have like a DiVincenzo and he's kind of just running sets and stuff. You can have Rui play different types of sets that gives you this luxury that not many teams have. And that's the brilliance of Rui Hachimura. Obviously, his ability to score and operate in the mid-range, which if you saw that Warriors-Kings series, that mid-range was wide open for the Sacramento Kings. I mean, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk and everybody were living in that mid-range area, because the Warriors were really trying to close out on the 3-point shot and trying to keep things contained in the paint. which is usually what teams do, period. I mean, we saw that in the Memphis Grizzlies series, right? Like, you saw Austin Reeves, you saw D'Angelo Russell, you saw Rui Hachimura really be able to get into that mid-range and get shots off. That same thing is going to happen to the Warriors, but I think even more, because the Warriors also don't have the defenders and the perimeter defenders that the Memphis Grizzlies had, right? As much as we like to make fun of and clown on Dylan Brooks and guys like that, like, they are really good defenders. They are solid defenders. They are guys that, and that was the luxury that the Grizzlies had with Anthony Davis, is they could put Tillman and Triple J on Anthony Davis, kind of just try to bully him down low, because you had Ja Morant, you had Desmond Bane, you had Dylan Brooks, who all could guard the perimeter and kind of patrol that and leave Vando as a spy, or open in the corner and kind of play spy, and then those three guys could kind of defend everyone else, and they were in a position. Well, the Warriors aren't going to be able to do that to the Lakers, because Clay and Steph and those kind of Jordan Poole, DiVincenzo, like, those guys aren't those level of defenders. Gary Payton II, he's a good defender, Andrew Wiggins, great defender. But again, like, they're not going to play 48 minutes a game. So the Lakers are going to have all kinds of just room to operate and really just put the ball into the hoop. I mean, obviously you got to hit the shots, but Rui has shown time and time again his ability to hit those shots and his ability to knock down the mid-range. And Rui's also a guy that you could just dump the ball down to, right? Like, if Andrew Wiggins or somebody gets switched, like Clay or somebody gets switched on Rui, dump the ball down to Rui and let him go to work. I mean, he was slicing and dicing the Memphis Grizzlies. I think he'll do even better against the Warriors, because outside of Draymond Green and Kevon Looney, the Warriors don't really have anybody else that can guard Rui, right? Like, they don't. And that is where the Lakers, again, it just gives them another weapon in their arsenal to kind of just give the Golden State Warriors fits. But I really do. I really think Rui is going to have a big impact. But anyway, like I said, just kind of going through the players. I want to talk about several of these players on the Lakers roster that I think will have big, important impacts. Again, go check out the Troy Brown video, and then look forward to the other ones. We'll talk about D-Lo. Like I said, I'm probably not going to talk about AD and LeBron. If I do, it'll probably be on game day, and it'll probably just be in a video about other stuff. But I really do. I want to highlight guys that I think could potentially have some impacts in this Warriors series. But what do you think about Rui? Love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comments below.